Welcome, everyone. We're back again for another roller coaster ride of an NFL season. I'm going to be keeping you up to date with the spreads as we go along. Hopefully, improving our record last year, Mike, which was below 50% in the end for both of us. Yeah, we're here in August, early August, and we've got some interesting season win totals to look at over unders at the moment. So, welcome aboard, Mike, and pleasure to see you again.
Good to see you as well, Thomas. In your new office set up there, looking plush, looking comfortable ahead of the new season. So yeah,
Yeah, it is.
we should be well situated to call out some season win totals for a couple of teams.
No, absolutely. So I'll kick this one off then. What we're going to do is we're going to pick our two calls. We've each got two calls. I'm doing AFC. Mike's going to take the NFC. And my general perspective on these is they're fraught with peril, and I never really want to put that much money on season win totals because you never really know what the hell can happen. Your quarterback could go down in week one, and then that's that. But it's still fun to look at, and just to see how the bookies have graded some of these actually more than anything. So I'm going to kick it off, and I'm going to have a look at the Las Vegas Raiders here, who have been given a 6.5 total over under. And it seems low to me. They finished 6-10 last year, 6-11. So yeah, this one I don't quite understand how they've come to 6.5 with Garoppolo at QB. I feel like they'll be steady. Josh Jacobs, the situation there is a little bit up in the air, but I don't really see that factoring into these metrics on season wins. I don't think it's going to influence that much. And I think ask them to get 7 wins in the year is very doable, especially playing in that nice environment there for all their home games. They usually play the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Broncos close, so expect them to get maybe 50% or above in the division, and then you're just asking them to win 4 more games. It's really not a stretch at all for me there, and good value. That's over 6.5 there for the Raiders. And I'll throw it to you, Mike. You can contest that if you wish, but I don't know. It seems like a no-brainer to me.
I hadn't seen that line. I mean, I'd feel pretty confident putting some money on that. That feels about right. As you say, they always play those teams close in the division. And they just feel like a team that maybe has got too much talent with Max Crosby, Jimmy Garoppolo. It's not bad. It's not a bad NFL quarterback if he can stay healthy. Devontae Adams, obviously, and Josh Jacobs, a real bonus for them getting Josh Jacobs back when, for all intents and purposes, it looked like he was out the door, really. So I mean, I can't see them getting close to being under 7. I mean, I think they'll probably finish on 8, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
You'd have thought, just on a gut call ahead of the season. So that's sort of where I have them picked. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the bookmakers are expecting the Chargers to go on some kind of run and finish with 12, 13 wins in that division, but you and I both know that's not normally how that works out. The team behind the Kansas City Chiefs that sneaks into the playoffs is a 9-win football team normally, 10 at the best. So I think that division is closer than the experts think by the sound of it.
I think so, and the Denver Broncos have been given a rather generous 8.5 wins. That's their total. So the Raiders are the lowest win probability, I guess you could say. It strikes me as a bit fishy. So yeah, I might go in on that. We'll see how we go. But I'd expect that to come in at the end of the year. So I'll throw it over to you for the NFC. What's going to be your over under first one for the NFC?
My first one is. You're probably it's gonna raise a smile from you, but I'll explain my logic. It isn't just based on my personal bias. I've got the Dallas Cowboys here, Tom, with an over/under set at 10.5 wins after a 12-win season last season. That maybe feels just on the eye test like a fair total to set for this season, but I've got some issues with it, mainly being 2 main things for all of the NFC East teams. And this applies to all 4 teams in the NFC East. It's just the strength of that division this year. is brutal. Number one. Brutal. I think the winner of the division might only get 10 wins this year, and I include the Philadelphia Eagles in that. Strength of schedule for all four teams this year is one of the hardest in the NFL. Last year, it was one of the easiest because we had some historically bad performances from the Giants and Commanders, and even the Eagles hadn't performed that strongly. So last year, we got very easy schedules, to be honest, against some pretty poor teams. Which definitely inflated the Eagles' win total up to 13. I think we ended up on at the end of the season, which felt a bit as good as a team as the Eagles were last season. I'm not sure they're a 13-win regular season team. So I think you're going to see all of the NFC's teams come down this year in win totals, and then for me, you're going to say, well, I think all the teams might split with each other and end up 3-3 in the division, and then are the Dallas Cowboys in our estimation, a better football team than the Philadelphia Eagles? I'm going to say no. Not with the loss of Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator. They brought in McCoy to call the plays, head coach, which is just. It didn't work for him. It didn't work for him at the end of Green Bay there for the last 2 or 3 years. I don't know why has he gone away and suddenly become a great offensive guru in that time. I'm not even sure he got the game management stuff down when that was his only responsibility. So, it's not McCoy. Mike McCarthy is who I'm thinking of. I can't even get the guy's name right. That's how little I respect him.
Well, they brought in Brian Schottenheimer as the de facto OC, but not much work for him to do. Just a bit of a puppet figure there. The Schottenheimer turning up.
No, McCarthy's definitely calling the plays. He was also calling out Kellen on his way out the door as well, saying they didn't run the ball enough, even though they ran it 6th most in the NFL last year. Incredibly efficient running. So all of that lack of confidence in McCarthy and the division being tight and the schedule being hard makes me think the Dallas Cowboys might end up on 9 wins and still be in contention for the NFC East. So that was my first one.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I like that. I agree with it. I've seen a few lines when I've looked around that has them at 9.5 season wins, which is interesting.
Okay. I had William Hill in the UK had them at 10.5, so maybe I've got a generous line there. Maybe I should take that, or I've got the opportunity.
Maybe. Shop it around a bit. That's and I agree with that. The strength of schedule is going to be big, as you said, and it's without more there, you do wonder what that offense is going to look like. Obviously, I'm a bit biased in that regard, but I think this could be his last year there, McCarthy. Depending how it goes, I mean, he's put it all on himself. So
Dan Quinn hung around for a reason, even though he could have got head coaching jobs elsewhere. He knows Mike McCarthy makes a deep playoff run or he's outdoor, and Dan Quinn will probably be the Cowboys head coach next year unless something miraculous happens.
Yeah. I like that a lot. And I was just having a look at some of the other teams in that division. The Commanders only given 6.5. I mean, that could be a sneaky one to take there, going on the over. And the Giants here up at where are the Giants? I can't find them now.
I believe they were at 9.5 when I had a look, but I could be wrong about
that. I know it seems. Only 7.5. That seems odd to me. That could be. I mean, you might just have a little lay on both of them there, and just it all depends how those divisional games go. But as you said, I'm sure they could scalp a few of the bigger teams, especially some of the home games. So that's certainly shaping up to be an interesting division.
Yeah.
My second one I'm going to look at. This is a reactionary one from purely based on what I saw, not really last night, but also just my general feelings. That's the Browns here, Mike. The Cleveland Browns. Okay. It's 8.5 wins on the year. I'm going to go under. I'm going to take the under on that and don't back them to win 9 games. First of all, it seems like the kickers got their yips already, which is not great in preseason. Cade York missing a couple of regulation field goals and extra points last night. So some concern there. And until I see the old Deshaun Watson, I just can't. I mean, this is not a line I'm going to bet on, but if you had to ask me, I'll be comfortable going under here, because until that Deshaun Watson comes back, I'm just not convinced he is the same player or ever will be again. And for that reason, I have to take the under. It's the supporting cast isn't quite good enough to make up for any mistakes that Deshaun Watson makes. So I think in that competitive division, I mean, as you know, it's always competitive. That's I feel pretty confident they're not going to get above 9 wins there. There's going to be some brutal games. They might win a few, but overall, no, not quite there for me for over 9.
It's a tough. I'm with you on that. I think that's a really tough division this year with Lamar Jackson coming back, with the Steelers.
Yeah.
I think Steve generally after the off season and the draft that they just had, I feel like they're an improved football team. And then the Bengals are defending champs and perennial AFC contenders. So it makes it very difficult for that Browns team to compete at the moment with the way that roster is built. That isn't a shot at the head coach who we've criticised before. That isn't a shot at Sean Watson, who we've criticised before. Just looking at the roster, I actually don't think they're in a brilliant position to have success anyway. I could be proved wrong. I could be proved wrong. Maybe Deshaun Watson comes out and plays like the Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson, and then it keeps them in a lot of these games, which is, I think, what they're going to, as you were alluding to there, they're sort of going to need that, to be honest, because they're going to have to get in some shootouts in these games, I think.
Yeah, the secondary is going to be a concern as usual. So that's a glaring hole that they haven't seemed to fill. So yeah, you're right. You're going to need to see Deshaun Watson in his prime for them to even get out of that division.
It's not an awful roster. There's just 3 other good ones, very good ones in that division. Is the problem. So I mean, guess maybe the Steelers. You could say the Steelers is, but they're improved. So it's tough. It's tough for the Browns this year, I think.
Yeah. All right, and then your other NFC pick.
Yeah, no, and then another. So I took an under on the Cowboys. I'm going to take an over on the Seattle Seahawks. Actually, I saw that. I've seen them. Nice. I was double checking a minute ago because I wanted just to make sure that number one, I had the total right, and I found multiple sources offering the Seahawks at 8.5.
Yeah, that's what I've got him as. Yeah.
I feel very. I mean, they had 9 wins last year, so I feel pretty comfortable just on that basis. But then, where I'm going to be a bit different is I have them potentially contending for the division title this year in the NFC West. 2 horrible teams with them in that division, in the Rams and the Cardinals might be the worst roster in football. The Rams aren't that far behind them, but outside of their 3 or 4 star players, it's just a lot of young rookies, inexperienced players. Yeah. Sean McVay is going to have to earn that boy wonder status all over again this season. And I don't know. I don't know that the 49ers. I don't think the 49ers are like a dominant 14-win team. That they never are. They're always a very good team.
No,
they're only ever an 11-win team. I can see the Seahawks winning 11 games this season. I think they're a very good football team, and the additions they made in the draft this year are absolutely outstanding for me. I thought they had one of the strongest draft processes of any team. It's really, and they signed a couple of nose tackles in free agency, which they had to because they were abysmal against the run last year. They got Jamal Adams coming back to play. I think he's going to play exclusively linebacker this year, which is interesting.
Nice.
They got Tariq Woolen off his one of his brilliant season last season, right up there with Sauce for defensive rookie of the year. So they've got some really interesting pieces, and that offense with Geno slinging the ball down the field can be deadly against anyone. That running game now as well with Charbonnet on the inside stuff and Kenneth Walker on the outside stuff is just. I mean, I think they've got everything on offense that you could want. So
yeah. It really was a delightful draft. Smith and Jigba added as well for the inside routes. I mean, they've got all bases covered there. I agree with you. I'd like to take a different position, but the 49ers bias is a thing. Certainly in the media here, people are in love with the 49ers. Maybe just because of the history of their team. I don't know. But as you said, they don't strike me as a dominant team. They are a good team, but they're not that dominant yet. Especially looking at the quarterback position. And yeah, I mean that's four. There should be four easy wins for both the Niners and Seahawks in that division as well, with that caliber of opponent. So yeah, I think they win 4 games, then you're only asking them to win 5 more games in the year to cover the over under. It's not much at all. So yeah, I like it. It's a good call.
Yeah, yeah. The darlings
and
the darlings of the NFL media landscape, the San Francisco 49ers. Honestly, people have them as NFC favorites ahead of the Eagles in some quarters, which is, I can see that in a way because the points I made about the Eagles earlier, but it does feel a bit rich considering they can't keep the quarterback healthy for the 17 games.
No, it is a darling. It's a good story. Like McCaffrey is reunited with Shanahan after their dad. I don't know. Wasn't McCaffrey's dad on the Broncos? I don't even know what it is, but it's just a good story. A good feel-good story.
It's nepotism are us there in San Francisco. Yeah, and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I love it. All right, let's run around the divisions here, and I think I've got the odds. I've got the American odds up on who the favorites are and stuff. We can talk about the odds, but I think just very quickly, with not too much explanation, let's just run through all the divisions and pick our winners and see what we both come up with. So I'll just go from what I've got here off the rap sheet, and that's AFC East first.
Okay.
Me. It's Buffalo Bills. It's a Buffalo Bills division until I see otherwise.
Yeah, no need to belabor too much. I mean, I think Jets and even sneakily the Patriots could actually be better than expected this year. But you can't go against the Bills.
No, plus 120 there to win the division. And they're actually one of the most nailed on favorites on all of these. I think, even it looks like even the Chiefs. The Chiefs are by far the highest odds on, the lowest odds, should I say, to win their division. The Bills are second. So yeah, that's you're not going to get too much out of that one. AFC North, we've discussed this one. This is you go first on this one. This is a real tough one.
I don't know the line. Don't tell me the odds. I'm gonna say the Bengals in a similar manner as with the Bills, in that I haven't seen anything yet because I don't know what that new Todd Monken offense is going to look like around Lamar Jackson. If they can actually turn that into a modern 11 personnel offense and get him throwing the ball and then keeping it on zone reads, they could be really, really threatening team, Baltimore, on offense. They've got a lot of interesting pieces now. So I'd say Baltimore the challenger, the Bengals are the winner.
I'll flip. I'll go with the Ravens because their odds are a little more appealing to me. They're obviously the Bengals, obviously the favorites in this division. Ravens second favorite. Yeah, I think it is a bit of it could be a crapshoot, the Todd Monken offense, but it could work really well. So if I was betting, I'd just say it's going to come off, and things seem to be a bit more settled there now with the quarterback situation and everything. So expect a bit more stability. They always seem to win these close games, the Ravens. You can always count them to win a few close games, with a kicking game especially. So, yeah, I'll take them to win that division.
Nice.
AFC South next. Tell you what, there's a heavy favorite here, Mike. I think you know who it is, but are you going to go with them? I'm certainly going to take the Jaguars to win this division. It's a no-brainer for me, but what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jaguars as well, and I can't see any other team challenging the Jags. I agree, and I think you've said this in the past about the Jags. They probably won't make it easy on themselves, which, I mean, I would definitely not disagree with that. But for me, 10 wins gets it done. Although, if Anthony Richardson does a Cam Newton in his rookie year, that could make that very interesting.
Yeah, it could. All right, AFC West, not much to choose here. Chiefs agreeing on Chiefs, I assume.
One word, Chiefs.
Yeah. NFC East, interesting one. So Eagles are our favourites here, minus 120 on the American money line. The next you got the Cowboys at plus 180, so not too far behind. Obviously, those two are the two front runners. Over to you, Mike. What do you think? Another Eagles repeat?
Yeah. Just it makes me cringe to say that because it's very rare that a team wins the NFC East 3 years in a row. But I think they'll just get it done. I think one win ahead of Dallas and or New York. I think it'll be a very good division.
I think that too. Yeah, one win in it maybe. Just roster is the best roster in that division, probably the best roster in the NFC. So it's hard to really bet against the Eagles to repeat that. NFC North. Okay, interesting one. We've got the Lions as favourites, plus 130. The Vikings at plus 280. I just don't know if I can take the Lions to win the division comfortably. I feel like it's going to be a fraught bet. You're really going to be sweating on that if you took them. I'm just going to say the Vikings win, just because.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Just because I trust all the Lions. I do.
I think the Vikings, and this was mirrored in the stats last year, I think they won a lot of close games against bad teams, and then the Giants absolutely kicked their ass in the playoffs. I don't think they're as good a football team, and I think they know they're not as good a football team. That's why there's already been talk about Cousins leaving, because they know he's not the answer and they need to retool. That leads me away from the Vikings.
Yeah.
And as much as I love the Detroit Lions, I'm with you on that. I've just got this horrible feeling they're going to blow it. I'm going to take the Packers. I'm going to take the Packers to be strong on defense, to run the ball well, and Jordan Love doesn't have to do that. In that division, I think it could come down to like a week. I'd love to know what the week 18 fixtures are. If it's Packers versus Lions, I could see them both being on 9 wins, and they're looking for that 10th win to push them over the top or something. Yeah. I'm going to say Packers just.
I like that. That's a good ballsy call there. Joint longest odds in that division, Packers and Bears are both plus 400, I should say. So yeah, good return if they can get that. The NFC South.
I might actually have some money on that. The Vikings have got no business. The Vikings have got no business being above the Packers in the money line. I'm deadly serious. That's ridiculous. The Vikings are a terrible team. Mark my words. They'll finish under 500.
I feel like I can't trust any of them, so I'll just take the team who won it last year, but we'll see. NFC South. Who are you taking here, Mike? We've got the Saints are favourites to win this by quite a way, and then closely followed by the Falcons, actually, and then the other two are way off. So this is interesting. Who are you going to take?
Do you have, just out of interest, do you have the Panthers win totals there, or is that a different? Would you have to go and find that, over under on that? Because I don't think it's right that the Panthers are a way off. I think they're a better team than people think they are, especially with the retooling they did this offseason and Frank Reich coach. I don't think the Saints are going to win this year. I think they're an aging team with a bit of a flapping head coach. I'm going to go with the Falcons to win this division.
Yeah. Okay. I can't seem to get the odds back for win totals, but
don't worry about it.
I seem to remember the Panthers are around the middle of the pack, but so who are you going to take? Sorry, I missed it. I was around there trying to find it.
I'm going to take the Falcons because I think the Saints roster is an aging roster, and they've got Kamara suspended. Dennis Allen does not fill me with any confidence as a head coach. Give me the Falcons, who are on the rise.
Okay, I like what the Panthers been building to be different. I'll take the Panthers to win that division with Bryce Young staying healthy for the year. Fingers crossed. Panthers are very good pass rush and a very good offensive line, so they're a team I'd be comfortable putting some money on. Actually,
I've got their win total Carolina Panthers, I've got them at 7.5 over under. What are you taking on that?
Yeah,
You'd say the over then, obviously, wouldn't you? Because yeah, I would say the over on that.
yeah, I think so. I think they might have got that wrong by a game. Could be seems like it should be 8.5. But yeah, okay. NFC West is the last one. I'll go. I will go with the Niners, just to be different, because I know who you're going to go with already. So, yeah, I'll take the Niners in that run game to travel well, get some road wins, clean up the division, and solidify their spot there. Although, yeah, I wouldn't put money on it, but yeah, I'll just take them.
No, I wouldn't put money on it, but I feel, although I might, because I do love the Seahawks. I'm gonna back their running game to travel well. I think they've got an incredibly efficient running game, even though they don't run it half as much as the Niners do. So yeah, give me the Seahawks to win to change things up and win the NFC West this season.
Okay, good. I like it. Well, and that concludes the NFL futures for this year. We've got a few interesting ones to follow as the year goes on. But yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. I'll be back for the college ones. I always like running through those. You'll take the bench on that one, Mike. Not too much.
I can get away with I can get away with watching a whole day of football only one day a week. I can't get away with it on a Saturday and a Sunday. I'll be in the doghouse.
Understandable. Okay. I'll swing by for those then the next few weeks, and then we've really got only another month or so till the actual spreads kick off. Maybe do a couple of but yeah, until then, go on.
Brilliant. Go well.